So, according to leading Wall Street institutions, the likes of WisdomTree, for example, XRP remains a relative standout amongst the entire crypto market, and it is the only major crypto with positive year-to-date returns in 2025, which is a very big deal, because one thing institutions want more than explosive growth and gains is a crypto with stability and resilience in their portfolio. So with XRP demonstrating the strongest level of resilience of every major crypto, more than Solana, more than Ethereum, more than Bitcoin and the rest, of course, institutional investors are lining up to add XRP to their portfolios, adding XRP to their balance sheets, which they can now do easily thanks to there being multiple spot XRP ETF filings now live available to them. And this isn't speculation that XRP is the favorite, no, because Wall Street confirmed in their November 2025 report, end of November report right here, that XRP is literally the only crypto with sustainable institutional inflows across all regions of the world. While Bitcoin saw record outflows dropping from $126,000 to $80,000, Ethereum dropped, Solana dropped, XRP ETF filings launched during that market turbulence and has seen such continuous inflows, and now it's being perceived as the only sustainable investment for institutional investors, which is why us XRP maxis will continue saying one day in the future XRP will surpass Bitcoin. Because if institutions are choosing XRP over Bitcoin right now, choosing XRP over the rest of the market right now, while we're still early, us investors, we've been ignorant to ignore this clear sign, a sign that XRP cannot remain this cheap forever. Looking at the market chart, XRP currently valued at $2.02, down roughly 0.5% on the daily time frame. In my opinion, not financial advice. Of course, XRP looks like it's finding its local bottom around this price here, and a huge rally is coming very, very soon due to agencies, regulators, and regulations that are being implemented as we speak, coming through next week, it looks like. The Cftc just announced and confirmed the biggest crypto and XRP rally is coming, as now a government-backed crypto trading platform will be going live next week. So another step, huge step towards XRP going mainstream. Take a listen here.
Crypto goes mainstream. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission announcing the launch of the first government-supervised crypto trading platform. It allows Americans to instantly buy, sell, and finance digital assets. Fox Business's Darren Botello live in Washington with all the details. Darren, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Maria. Of course, right now, as we all know, you can buy and sell crypto online already, but this is the first time, like you said, a spot trading platform is getting the full backing of the federal government. So why does this even matter to investors that the CFTC is backing this new Bitnomial platform? These other platforms are legally operating, but here's the catch, Maria. They're often called the Wild West. Basically, it's buyer beware. We've seen this with the collapse of FTX and customers eventually losing out on huge profits they would have had. Their money stayed safe in the market, they would have had it. Now with this Bitnomial platform, there are stricter standards for transparency, security, and consumer protection to prevent an FTX-style collapse. We spoke exclusively with acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham ahead of this new platform going live.
Not only do we want Americans to come back home and to be trading here, where they know that they have the protections that they deserve. But again, that means that American companies that are involved in the crypto industry, they're going to want to build here. They're going to want to invest here. They're going to want to hire here. So this is overall a net benefit to the economy.
And Bitnomial tells us ahead of their announcement, the actual launch of the platform is set for next week.
This is a crazy development. Honestly, it was inevitable, truth be told, and the first of many, no doubt, but it is still a crazy development. It's crazy because of how far we have come in this year so far. Yes, the price has been lackluster throughout 2025, but the foundation has been fantastic and it only becomes stronger. The CFTC, as you heard, just approved Bitnomial as America's first federally regulated exchange for leveraged crypto spot trading, which launches next week. The floodgates for XRP the rally for XRP is about to take off, because remember, when Gilberti Sal, 2Qm CEO, stated a little while back that all the banks are going to ape into crypto and XRP into blockchain and the XRP ledger once we get regulatory frameworks and clearer guidelines. The Genius Bill was the first step. The Cftc, the SEC, and the OCC providing clearer guidelines for banks is the next step. But the real bombshell, the real adoption pumper, therefore price pumper as well, is the passing of the Clarity Act coming in a few months' time. Take a listen.
Let's go all the way to the other extreme, the most abstract, which is XRP Ripple. I've always been fascinated by Ripple because I sort of see it as this interesting, purely financial asset. Like, it's really, my understanding of XRP is it's really a bridge asset for things like big, giant cross-border settlements and things like that. So it's always had this kind of quasi-institutional story under the hood. And now in this much more open regime we have for crypto and its use both in finance and in ETFs, it's catching a bit again. People are starting to understand what XRP does in the ecosystem. Y'all were out very early with the first, I think it was the first XRP tagged ETF of any kind, the 2X fund that you have. Now we've got some other folks coming to market with Spot, and I'm sure we'll end up with income and leverage and all sorts of other variations on it. What's your take on where XRP is right now and its sort of potential for real adoption, which I think is what people are really hoping for?
I think the potential for real adoption is more than potential, is being adopted. Ripple has worked diligently. They're very professional over there. They are single-minded in their purpose, and they are building the rails, as they say, across the entire global financial system for the XRPL, so the XRP ledger, to be used. And of course, you use XRP on the ledger, you use RLUSD, which is their stablecoin on the ledger. And all the banks, once the Clarity Act is passed, I think you're going to see use of that ledger explode. I don't think people understand how much it's being used right now, or it's being prepared right now. And I don't even grasp the scale of how big the use of that ledger is going to be once the Clarity Act is passed. And that's really a needed thing. I think that the spot ETFs, where they actually hold the physical, that does help. It takes some supply off the market. We saw it help the Ether price quite a bit when the Ether ETFs came out. I don't know what'll happen here. I would think it would provide at least some underpinning. I would think that as more money comes in, the price volatility will go down a little bit, because we've seen that in other assets. So that's something to reasonably expect. But I don't think people understand that Ripple's a real live use case. Ripple the company has been very disciplined in setting itself up in thousands of banks on all the platforms across the world. As soon as there's clarity in the U.S. for banks to, and let's face it, all the money in the world goes through the U.S. At one point or another, it just does. And once the U.S. banks have a very clear, well-defined regulatory environment in which to play, I think the use of the XRPL skyrockets. And so what that'll do to the price of XRP, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, that's one of the really fascinating things about XRP to me, is that because it is really designed as a utility token, people shouldn't be thinking of XRP as a thing that you go put money in and then it doubles in value, like what people hope Bitcoin will do, or gold. Right? It's not designed to be a static store of value. It's designed to be this very living thing that gets moved through the economy to help enable the movement of value through other mechanisms, currencies, et cetera. So there is that question of how does increased adoption translate into the price of Ripple going up? I'm with you. My vibe on it is that we'll see the price stabilize and then grind higher as utilization goes up. And obviously, if we get big spikes in utilization, you would expect to see some spikes in the price as well.
Once the US banks have a very clear, well-defined regulatory environment in which to play, Gilberti here, he believes that the XRP ledger will skyrocket. This is huge. The playbook has been laid out in front of us, so it's up to us to stay ahead of the institutions and continue DCA before this explosion. Otherwise, if we act too late, we'll miss out on the huge gains to come. So finally, to find out more, stay more locked in, come check out the VIP here, wap.com/coinfactory. Alpha documentation on what smart money are saying to their clients so we can get ahead of the retail market, educational courses, trade alerts as well, making gains as we go, and much more. Check it all out for a 7-day free trial. Links down below in the description. As always, remember, don't look short term, think long term. And I'll see you in the next one.